Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Mage, because I wanted to check out the newly buffed Wand, which I think is actually a quite powerful weapon right now, and the Mage seemed like the natural character to try out this weapon with. The Wand got significant buffs. It gained inherent piercing, which is massive for this burning weapon, since it means you're applying burning to more enemies at once. And also, with its inherent knockback of 10, that'll help push enemies away from you. So, I think that this weapon, which used to be one of the worst in the game, is actually pretty strong now, and we're gonna try it out. We randomed our map and rolled Crash Zone. I do think that this is going to be slightly harder than the Abyss would be usually for an elemental build, because we're not going to be very good at killing the summons on wave 14, and we're going to generate with our ranged weapons a lot of projectiles on wave 16, so the two sort of most difficult waves on Crash Zone are both going to be quite hard for us. We'll take 5 harvesting here, and then I'm going to buy a wand. We'll ban Lost Duck, because we don't obviously want to reduce our elemental damage, and then we will re-roll. Boiling Water, I will lock. This is definitely good enough to pick up. One of the advantages of elemental builds is that Boiling Water and Toxic Sludge are both really strong boosts your elemental damage available as level 1 items, so you're a little more likely to get good items for elemental builds. Just forgot how to talk there. Let's re-roll here. Butterfly we're also going to ban, and then I'll re-roll, buy a wand. Wand is also a very cheap weapon, which helps you get a lot of copies of it. I'll definitely take a snake here, and then I'll roll again. Wasn't able to lock a 5th wand, but getting at least 4 is pretty important. This weapon really wants to level, because the initial damage that you do on a hit increases in scaling as you level up this weapon, and while the burning damage is helpful, one of the things that's nice about Wand is it will later get 100% damage scaling, and you'll be able to actually just kill things with the initial attack. We'll take 5 more harvesting here, and then I will roll. Okay, we do need to find more weapons. I got one and another, and I rolled. Didn't lock a 7th one. This weapon definitely does need to level up, though, so We've gotten slightly unlucky on our weapon rolls. We should be able to recover from that without too much difficulty. Obviously, picking up materials is always going to be a challenge for elemental builds. So we're going to be looking for baby geckos. Loot worm would be really nice. It's always nice on nightmare mode. Mostly I'm focusing on killing stuff every wave, though. We'll take 5 harvesting here, and then 2 lifesteal, 1 elemental damage. Those are both very tempting pickups. I think I will just take the 2 lifesteal. That's going to be our best way to heal with this ranged weapon, fairly long-range ranged weapon that attacks relatively frequently, or at least will once we get some bonuses to attack speed. Pick up the wand here. Do I think I can get away with Weird Ghost in this run? Penguin, I'm not that excited about because we're going to focus on lifesteal, so I think I'm going to ban out the Penguin. Weird Ghost, I do think I can get away with on wave 5, so I'm going to lock it because it is a very efficient item if you don't die. And we will need some max HP. On elemental builds, it's often hard not to take damage, especially in the mid-game, because you kill enemies relatively slowly, and your damage is often dealt towards enemies that are not the ones that are specifically threatening you. So we will need pretty solid defensive stats to go along with our weapon here. Now, obviously, Wand as a weapon isn't really intended as as the only weapon that you build. You're supposed to build it to set things on fire alongside hazers or other elemental weapons, icicles, things like that. But I wanted to try out what it looks like if we just take a bunch of wands. I'll take Weird Ghost, Lumberjack Shirt, and Tree, and then roll, and we'll buy a wand here. Gentle Alien, of course, is great, and Ugly Tooth will make it a lot easier to survive against elites, so we'll pick that up as well. I'm gonna re-roll here to try to buy another wand, and I was able to. Since the damage scaling on this weapon increases as you level it, very important to get weapon levels as quickly as possible on wands here. needed to avoid that charger, or it would have put a lot of damage on me and made it fairly hard to pick up materials and clear efficiently for the rest of this wave. So our weird ghost has worked out very well. It hasn't cost me any money. And we've ended up with a very efficient HP item as a result of buying it. On Nightmare mode, I think you should be a little more cautious about Weird Ghost, especially if you play on full projectile mode, but still I think that item is underbought. I'm going to take the 6 HP here over the 6 dodge. I just want enough max HP to get going. And 10 harvesting is great. This gets us over the 21 harvesting mark, so it'll start growing by 2 every wave, and should give us a ton of economy. We can now invest purely into damage and defense, because our harvesting will carry a lot of our economy. I'm going to roll here. Landmines is okay on the Mage. It is a way alongside Scared Sausage and the snakes that we have to set things on fire, but it only does it every 12 seconds, so I still just think that this item is really bad. Even for engineering builds, I think the Landmines item is pretty weak. There are some specific builds that need it in order to do any damage at all, but outside of that, it's a fairly tough item to make do anything. I'm going to reroll here for 9, because this is wave 5, so we're guaranteed to see a weapon every reroll, and I was hoping to roll a wand, but obviously I'm happy to roll a bag as well. With an elemental build, you definitely want to kill the eggs, because the slashers, high health individual enemies, are of course the counter to elemental builds. Your damage is done in fixed intervals with burning. And so you need a lot of damage in order to make up for the fact that you're effectively, with your main damage source, capped on the attack speed that you can have. One of the advantages, I think, of wands in general is that we will be able to get our actual initial attacks doing good damage later on, and that will make up for the fact that burning builds can sometimes struggle. I'll take the baby elephant for 10 materials. I don't expect this to do much, but it is a little better in a scenario like this, where our damage is naturally spread out anyways. Another scared sausage, of course, is great. It not only increases the burning damage of our wands, but it will also mean that if we get stuff like Pocket Factory, turrets, anything, pets, anything that can apply burning at range, then that's more likely to happen. I might end up building dodge in this run, but I want to get my character strong early, so I'm going to pass on the dodge for now. Dodge is more of a long-term investment, but I will take 9 speed, and then we'll definitely take 3 armor. And we'll buy all of these items, boost my percent damage a little bit. I'll take the Scar, and I do think that the Bonk Dog is worth picking up for the Mage. Being able to apply burning damage to enemies that are far away from you means that there will be a lot of burning ticks before they get to you, so you can often kill them. While crit chance is actually pretty good for wands, I'm still just going to ban Claw Tree. I haven't really used my bans, and I want, of course, to ban level 1 items, because there's a lot of really good level 1 elemental damage items, and obviously the normally powerful economy items that are available at level 1 we're very interested in as well. Rat we're also pretty interested in, because they can apply fire at range. Lots of reasons to look for level 1 items. Aside from the fact that, generally speaking, almost every character should just ban level 1 items anyways, since it's by far the most likely to come up in a 20-wave run. Things can, of course, change in Endless mode. Oh, the healer alien snuck in from the side and healed that loot alien. So that cost me both the loot alien kill and a ton of materials, because I was trying to focus damage on the loot alien instead of picking up materials and killing other stuff. So that healer getting there at the exact wrong time for us and giving it 100 more health, we would have killed it otherwise, was really brutal that wave. If I'm planning to build dodge, I should take the feather. The -3 XP gain is pretty irrelevant, and 9 for 3 dodge is a pretty good deal. I think I will take the feather here, and then I'm going to re-roll this. I could take 9 HP, but I think I'm looking for attack speed, and I'm looking for armor. We'll take 15 attack speed. We currently have no attack speed, so we definitely want to boost that. I'll buy the Bonk Dog, and we'll buy the Pocket Factory. Now, Mage does get to buy Engineering at 50% rate, but we're still going to ban the Pencil here, and then I'll ban Scope to get a reroll for free. That free reroll actually allowed me to afford this wand right away, which is great. Knockback is actually a stat that we would like to increase. I'll buy a boxing glove if I see it. But, of course, we're not going to not buy elemental damage. Wave 8 is going to be challenging for this character. The weakness of elemental builds is high health individual enemies, and that's what shows up on Wave 8. A lot of high health targets that move really fast and are hard to avoid. We don't yet have good defenses, so if I take a hit from one of these chargers, it's going to be more than half my health, probably. And so I will need to be very, very careful this wave. Our Bonk Dog is actually doing fairly well, because it set a few of the chargers on fire before they got close, so the Bonk Dog just existing in this run has made my life a lot easier, because there's just been less stuff I've had to maneuver around. The Pocket Factory as well is setting things on fire, though it did a less effective job there. Okay, do I think I can get away with the Peacock? Going into Wave 9 Peacock, of course, is incredible. It's going to give us a lot of stats, but this is a very dangerous item to pick up. I think we can do it, but obviously I could just lose outright here. I'll take the 2% lifesteal, and then I will buy these items. Given that I bought Peacock, so I need to stay at full health all the time, even the healing that we have won't be enough to not get one shot here. I'm going to ban the Weird Ghost. If I didn't have the Peacock, I probably would take it. And then, do I think Jelly Shield or Jerky makes me safer in this next wave? I think probably the Jelly Shield helps more, because just taking any hits is so dangerous. Obviously, we're going to buy both of these items. Alien Tongue is kind of interesting. We have +1 consumable heal, so consumable heal is a little bit useful to us, and knockback is actually a relevant stat. That being said, it's so expensive. 55 is so much money for the Alien Tongue, so I think we will pass on it. I am going to take the little muscly dude here, though, because we need more max HP. So obviously, we want to pick up more materials, so you might think, well, we have to take the Alien Tongue, but Alien Tongue actually doesn't help that much in terms of material pickup. The extra radius seems on paper like it's going to be nice, but it doesn't typically give you more options to pick up materials that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Like on this wave, whether we can move to the center of the map by killing stuff is what matters, not the exact pickup radius that we happen to have at that time. All the goobers are really dangerous to us, and getting that percent dodge was actually pretty nice there. I'd have lost a lot of health. So, like, this wave, for example, I'm going to run in the center here, and we're going to pick up a bunch of materials. I'd only have gotten, like, maybe 5 more if we had the extra pickup radius. I will take some more lifesteal, and then I'm going to pick up some more elemental damage, and I will grab 10% attack speed here, and then more elemental damage. I also really want more armor, but more damage is really important. Then we'll take 2 armor. We got a ton of levels there, which is great. Getting to level our wands is awesome. We'll take the little muscly dude. Do I want plant? I think I will pick it up. We have okay attack speed on our wands, but we aren't going to be able to use lifesteal for everything, probably, so we're just going to make sure that we have healing all the time. Take Gentle Alien here. We will combine and buy a wand and Pile of Books and Dock Moth. I think I will take the Dock Moth. It can potentially help us through the upcoming elite waves. Pile of Books is pretty expensive, so even though the crit chance is relevant for wands, I think we're going to pass on it. I'm going to roll here, and we'll take a Lemonade. Baby Gecko will actually help us pick up more materials, and is a relevant the range increase is relevant to this character as well, so we will pick that up. The Dock Moth might have been a little bit of an overinvestment, but I think it will help. And I was really impressed with it in my Pacifist run. The Jelly Shield just stomping on those 2 projectiles was pretty nice. So while I have generally thought Dock Moth is a fairly weak item, that Pacifist run where it was so good has made me want to reevaluate it a little more, so I'm going to be picking it a little more highly so I can get a better sense of where it's good and where it's not. Obviously, it's going to be at its best in a Pacifist run, so I don't expect a performance like we had there on other characters, but still a pretty interesting item. And we'll take the mushroom here for sure. I'll pick up 2 more armor, and then with negative luck, I don't think I can get away with buying this pearl. Obviously, I would love to be able to build up a bunch of pearls, and I do like this item, but we have negative luck, so it doesn't do anything right now. Regeneration Potion is great. This is an incredibly solid healing item. And the rat is actually very nice for applying fire. Cute Monkey, also an incredibly solid healing item, so very happy to see all of those. And then, what a shop for us. We got Regen Potion and Fairy and Cute Monkey. We also got some really solid economy items. So that more or less solves our healing problems. The Wave 11 shop being extremely lucky there. Jelly Shield is always good on full projectile mode, I think, but it's been even better than normal in this run. It's just blocking a lot of damage. To make sure I'm picking up those materials as well. I don't need to stay in the Dock Moth aura all the time, but I should try to stay near it so that when I need a fast heal, I can run to it and get a little bit of boosted healing. Not the percent dodge there, but the projectile right before that was another really good example of Jelly Shield. I think it's intercepted like 6 projectiles that would have hit me this wave. So I wouldn't have died without it, but we'd have been playing much more scared and at much lower health. The wheelbarrow here, I'm going to recycle. At this point in the game, I actually don't really want the economy, and lowering my armor is really dangerous. I mean, we want more economy. And wheelbarrow is very nice, but we're going into an elite wave next. I really don't want to lower my armor going into the elite wave, and I think we're well enough set up economically and in terms of our character power level. All I want to do is just not die at this point. Do I want 15 luck here? It is a solid healing stat for us. I guess I'll take it because it's a high-level upgrade. I'm going to reroll this. 5 speed, I think, is enough. And, okay, 12 HP, incredible. We're going to buy these items, and then we'll roll. And then Blazemander, of course, is great. But do I want the wand upgrade? Do I want the propeller hat? I think I'll take the wand, and we'll take the bat here. Good healing, and the Blazemander can wait. It won't be that good against the elite anyways. So I obviously need to clear the eggs that this elite puts out. I don't know if I'm going to have the damage to try to kill the elite. I think we're going to be just short. If I had a little more attack speed or a little more direct elemental damage, I could probably try to do it. But we have built somewhat more for the long term in this run. I have a few economy, a few like extra economy items. I have a few kind of long-term value items. And burning builds are never good at killing elites. So we were close, I think, to being able to try. But given that I don't think I'm going to be able to get it, I would much rather play it safe and not try to attack the elite here. Making that decision early in a wave is very important on an elite fight. I'll take the mouse here. We'll take padding. We do need more max HP. And then I would love to roll for armor, but I think I do just need to take the elemental damage here. We just need more damage all the time. I'll buy these items. We'll skip the baby elephant at full health. As you can see, it's not doing anything. And I will roll again, take the head injury and roll again. And then I'll pick up tree. Corrupted shard. We do have a point of curse already, so I can't totally avoid curse. And it gives me a regen from fairy, so I think we will pick it up. For 25, I don't think it's worth re-rolling. Also, I'm going to buy small fish because we have fairy, so a normally fairly weak item gets decent value on elemental builds because you're fairly likely to be doing your damage slowly, so you're going to get full value out of the plus 10% damage. And getting extra regen on an item makes it a lot more attractive, even if it's normally a not incredible item. The math on small fish is actually somewhat complicated, but basically the breakdown is that in order for it to reduce the number of hits that it takes to kill an enemy, high damage builds will typically not fall within the very narrow threshold that enables that, whereas low damage builds will often actually reduce the number of hits that they require to kill an enemy. That is, low instances of individual damage. I'm going to roll here. I could take 6 max HP, but I think we can do better. I will take 3 regen as well, and then I'll pick up 2 armor. Ice Cube, obviously great. We'll take Peaceful Bee. We'll take Small Fish. We'll roll. Capping my move speed at 5 is definitely a little bit concerning, but I do think that both the 80 range and, of course, the 8 regeneration are really good stats for us. I don't need the shackles this wave, though, so I think I'll pick up the loot worm and the glasses here. We'll lock shackles and maybe try to pick up 1 speed item, and then I'll take a Peaceful Bee. Unfortunately, that speed item can't be wings, because it reduces my elemental damage. And Recycling Machine, I don't love on Nightmare mode in general. It takes too long to pay off. Now, Wave 14 is always going to be a challenge, because the summons, we need to make sure that we're killing them, but we should have decent spread out damage on this build. One downside that we have is we don't have great control over what enemies we're actually damaging, and so it's hard for me to specifically kill summoners at any given time. Always going to take a hit there because of my positioning. But Wave 14, I think, should be relatively easy for this build. The wave that I'm worried about is Wave 16, with all of the enhanced flies, because we have a lot of attacks. We also have a pocket factory, so we're going to be triggering a lot of enhanced fly projectiles, and that's going to be hard to deal with. Running into the middle there just to pick up some extra materials. Black Flag, we do have Curse. I think I will buy the Black Flag. This is a little dangerous, of course, but it is a very powerful item. Coral I'm going to recycle just because I dislike the tap move requirement. You probably should buy Coral there. You can just stand still and it's fine, but I just don't like using Coral, so this is a personal preference thing. Now I'll take the Alien Tongue. The knockback is relevant, and of course it comes with bonus regen, and we'll take the Shackles. Baby Elephant, we're still going to skip. It did do more damage last wave, but it's just so expensive for very little bonus damage. And then we're going to buy these items and roll. Pick a mutation. Okay, well, I've just reduced my knockback a lot, but obviously we're still not skipping those mutations. And I'll roll again. What's my crit chance? 4%? So I'm not going to buy the hunting trophy. Crit chance, of course, is very valuable, but or hunting trophy, of course, can be very powerful if you have crit chance, but we have very low critical hit chance, and we're much more interested in rolling for attack speed and percent damage stats, which are still very low for us, so I don't want to invest in an item that doesn't do anything without a stat that we don't really want to buy. A good general rule is if an item scales off of a stat that you wouldn't normally buy, don't buy that item. That's, I think, one of the biggest, like, category errors that I see people making in this game is things like, why didn't you invest in elemental damage when you had one scared sausage on a ranged damage build? Things like that. Or why don't you buy scared sausage and then buy a bunch of elemental damage? Items that warp your build like that are typically going to make you weaker than just investing in the thing that you already want your character to do. The Peacock here I'm definitely not taking. Wave 16 is one that is going to be very challenging. Now, here I will actually take 7 crit chance because we got a level 3 crit chance upgrade. I could take 12 dodge here. I want armor as well, but we're level 25. We've ended up really highly leveled in this run. Lots of bonus XP gain, 82. So dodge is a little easier to come by when you're high level, and we already have 15 of it. I think I will take the 12 dodge here. This is a great shop for us. We'll take all of these items, of course, a bunch of elemental damage. I will roll again, and I'll buy the mouse and toxic sludge. I want the community support, but I don't want to lower my armor going into this next wave. And attack speed is less relevant in wave 16 than raw damage, because the thing that kills you is hitting the flies too much. So we're avoiding picking up the attack speed, even though on paper the community support would be a very good item, giving us a stat that we want. Just because of the specific enemies that we're facing. Definitely want to get my Pocket Factory turrets online early, so that they can set the flies on fire before I have to shoot them and generate more projectiles. General strategy for Wave 16 is you want to kill all the flies as soon as they spawn early on, to minimize the number of projectiles that you're facing, and then near the end of the wave, you're going to have to retreat to the corner. There will just be too many flies to clear. Obviously, this is if you're using a ranged weapon. With melee weapons, you can just charge out. But then you can just make very small movements, because the projectiles fly slowly, so as long as you're not moving quickly, they won't hit you. The challenge I think that people have is running really fast to get to them. To get to the flies, and then running into a bunch of projectiles at once. I'm going to recycle the reinforced steel, take the peaceful bee, and then we'll take the injection, and then more elemental damage. Now we can pick up community support. Oh, obviously, I should have bought the coupon first. Sequencing error there, of course. Taking the defective steroids because it gives regen, so even though the attack speed loss is painful, we want HP, we want regen. We'll buy the wand here and roll. I really want percent damage, but with 7 armor, I've just reduced it. I don't think I can buy the glass cannon. I am going to pick up the beanie here, even though we're speed capped. The reason is that we get a regen, so it's not a completely ridiculous purchase. 70 for 1 regen is very expensive, but not horrible. And with this regeneration, or with the beanie, we can now buy items that give negative speed without going below cap. I'm thinking about the glass cannon. 4 armor against this elite is horrible. But the 25% damage might let me actually kill it. I think I'm going to pass, though. I think that's just too dangerous. I will take the whistle. And I think I will buy the bait. We do want more percent damage. And even though this is an elite wave, I think we're okay to buy bait here. The bag, is that going to pay for itself in the last couple waves for 54? I would need to drop 4 crates, and realistically a couple more crates than that in the last few waves with 43 luck, so I think we will pass on the bag. So I need to back off from the lampreys here. We also have a jelly shield, which makes buying bait a little easier as well. This elite, I'm not going to try to kill, I don't think. Focusing damage on this specific elite is pretty difficult. Although, I've actually done decent damage to it already, just kind of incidentally, so maybe I will try to kill it. But on wave 17, with all of the rib cages, enemy health is so high, and this elite charges, making it hard to directly focus damage on it. I don't think we're quite gonna get there. Now, as it happened, I think I could have killed the elite and would not have died if I bought the glass cannon. So worth keeping note of that. I was a little bit skittish here and maybe could have played more greedy. We'll take the tardigrade. We're building dodge, and it's only 40 materials, so it can help. And then I'm going to re-roll here, take some more attack speed. I will buy this whole shop, of course, and then re-roll. We will buy a wand. We'll buy spicy sauce. Leather vest is great. Then I'm going to roll again, and we'll keep upgrading our wand. I'll roll one more time for 24, and I will buy the insanity. We'll buy the bandana as well. Losing percent damage is bad, but on wand, your piercing shots are extremely valuable because they set things on fire. So it does massively increase your damage output to have more pierce on this weapon. I do want to kill that egg. This wave is a tough one. I'm not going to be able to hunt down all of the eggs or the summons on wave 18, and especially because it's a darkness wave, so we won't always see where the eggs and everything are. So wave 18 is always going to be a little challenging here. Fortunately, we're setting everything on fire with our Pocket Factory. Our Loot Worm is triggering the Pocket Factory turrets to show up, and then those are setting things on fire. So that's actually a very meaningful increase to our clear speed right now, is having those items all together. I'm going to recycle the salt water because it reduces our elemental damage. We'll take 16% damage here, and then I'm going to buy these items. I still do... I'm happy to buy the crit chance. Unfortunately, Hunting Trophy is a little bit too late. I'll roll. We'll buy Wand and Scared Sausage and roll again, and then we'll buy... What do I want for this next wave? I want this whole shop except the medical turret. So what's going to be most relevant for the upcoming wave? I guess I can buy Fuel Tank and Wand, and I can then buy Eye Surgery. And this basically just lets me buy 2 items here. So we don't have 2 things locked and see an extra one next wave. Do I want to re-roll? For 34, it's pretty expensive, so I'll pass. I'm not going to quite hit level 30. Would have been nice too, of course. So I will say, I made some choices that made this run a little harder. Things like getting Curse and then buying Black Flag weren't necessary at all. But I've still felt pretty comfortable in this run currently. So I'm definitely feeling like Wand is just a pretty powerful weapon right now. And obviously, we could have done something like 2 Wands and 4 Tasers, which would have been even easier for this character. I just wanted to test out what it looks like if you just buy only Wands. We'll take the Pearl here, because it's +5 damage. I'll take the Dynamite for the 1 regen. This extra Dynamite, I want it. I guess I'd rather have the materials. No, I can take it for 1 Curse. Maybe we find a cursed item in the shop here. This is actually a good spot to buy... Oh, we did hit level 30. Wow, okay. This is actually a good spot to buy 45 range, because it's not really up against anything else. And then I'm going to roll here, looking for dodge. And roll again. Attack speed also relevant against the bosses if I want to try to kill them. But getting a 12 dodge upgrade, I think, is the most impactful thing that we can get. Because as you get more dodge, dodge gets better. So even though I spent 300 materials or something looking for dodge there, that 12 dodge was really good. The Spyglass at this point will actually come pretty close to paying for itself just in this last wave alone, right? With a minus 50% reroll price, and we get range and curse. Okay, so I don't think it's right to buy Spyglass here, but I'm curious how much we save just in this last wave. So I roll, buy these items. The ritual, I guess, we'll buy, and then we'll roll again. And then I'll buy the Cyclops worm, and then I'll count the discount from this reroll, because we might be able to buy something after rerolling here. We weren't, but if we had found a cheap item, we could have bought it. So we saved supposedly 27 materials. That can't be right, though, because minus 40%. I feel like it's not tracking the number correctly here. And yeah, minus 39 here. I'm not going to do the math. Obviously, I'd have to go back, but it doesn't seem like that number is right. The coffee would have been great if we could buy it. I'm not going to re-roll again because we would lose health for the padding. So let's go to wave 20. So against the bosses here, we now have enough damage, and we have the eye surgery increasing our burning speed. We should be much more easily able to kill the bosses, because we've built up a decent amount of damage bonus at this point. And with 50% dodge, the dodge is actually very helpful for helping us just consistently damage the enemies and not have to worry about what they're doing. I can always retreat to the Dock Moth if needed. Dock Moth is also an item that I bought in this run that maybe made us a little weaker because it didn't contribute to snowballing, and we didn't end up really needing it. But overall, I would say this is a very comfortable run with the wands. I never particularly felt like I was in danger, and so very happy with this run. Let's look at our items. So obviously, 270,000 damage from our scared sausages, incredible. We had 11k from the baby elephant, so not a great performance by baby elephant, but it was we got it from a box. The bag gave us 375, which is great, though a bunch of that was actually in the last wave where it didn't matter. 4 peaceful bees, of course, great for the mage. 160 projectiles from the jelly shield intercepted, which is awesome. The jelly shield here was an all-star in this run for sure. Only 27 bonus healing from Dock Moth, so that one did very badly. And the Ratzilla actually did 15k damage and also was setting things on fire, so this was a pretty useful purchase. The Cute Monkey, 50 healing. Blazemander, 72k damage, so that was great. Of course, Ice Cube is awesome. 170 materials from our Loot Worm, and 324 from our Black Flag, so the Black Flag was fine, but we could also have just not taken it. Though the amount of bonus money you get from this is not totally reflected by the tooltip, because a lot of it comes in the form of the 10% extra enemies, which don't show up in the tooltip, but do just give you more money. And coupon for 121, so kind of a weak coupon in the later stages of the run. We got actually 10 healing from Adrenaline, a little unusual, and the Spyglass for 39. I'm curious, somebody check the amount we spent on rerolling and what the Spyglass actually saved us. I'm curious if the math lines up, because I thought it would be more like 60 saved materials, just looking at the glance value, looking at the numbers, but it's possible I'm just overestimating how much that would have been. And other than that, nothing else in particular. I felt that the wands performed very well. As you can see, the level 4 wand hits for 100 and then burns for 100 more. So it's just a very powerful weapon once you max out its levels. All right, my friends, hope that you enjoyed this video. And of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.